Alex has joined the conference.
Hey, Alex, I think everyone got cut off, so everyone can back in.
That wasn't just me then.
Everyone back?
Waiting for Ilana.
So you just left technology.
Ilana
has joined the conference.
Sorry about that, Ilana.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, that's my fault. Apologies.
No, that's fine. Can everyone hear me and see my screen?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So, so this meeting, as most of you have been on the call before, but we were kind of halfway, about to go into some content, and then a fire drill kind of got in the way of that. So I'm pleased we were able to find some time to reschedule and speak. So in terms of agenda, actually, I wanted to kind of take this session kind of based on our discussion last time. It was actually quite, I thought it was quite interesting because a few of you were asking questions and kind of topics that weren't necessarily specific to, obviously, social media and to some of the benchmarks. So I do want to cover that information, but I also wanted to give you all kind of a broader scope of type of content that we've got available because it sounded like it would be of interest. So, Charlie, don't worry, I will go into your kind of CPM and video specific content.
Yeah, no worries at all.
But I also just want to make sure that we do look outside of just social media and where this, given that the way we work with our clients, it's on a broader level. You have got access to all of our data that's available. I want to make sure that we cover that as well. So would it be helpful to do another introduction into eMarketer, or did you want to go straight into it? Was there anyone who missed?
I think maybe just like a quick 5-minute, just a quick run through.
I wasn't on the last call.
Right, as I thought. Okay. No, but are you familiar with eMarketer at all? Have you ever used us or come across us?
I am familiar. I have used you. I've used your free content.
Okay, but never the pro.
No, never the pro. I don't think we do. We have it internally, and I've just not.
No.
Then yeah.
No. That's why we've got the conversation.
Oh, excellent. Right. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's brilliant. I mean, it's great to hear that you use our public content. So hopefully this will give you a feel for what else is available and how else it can be applied to your business. So at a very high level, so eMarketer, we focus on providing different data insights, forecast benchmarks on the entire digital landscape. So we work with companies like yourselves to help them better understand how consumers are spending their time online, how they're spending their money online, and then how to reach them in the most effective way. I suppose those are the three key areas. The way that we do that is quite unique in the market in the sense that we don't do any primary research ourselves. What our methodology is a multi-sourced approach. So we have access to thousands of different sources, and these are the likes of primary research companies, government agencies, academics, consultancies, technologies, etc. We vet the data to ensure credibility. We bring it in-house. We then curate, analyze, and aggregate it, and then produce these different reports, benchmarks, charts, etc., as we'll go through today. So for us, it's all about being objective and accurate when it comes to our forecasts and our analyses. And then, there's a reason why companies like Economist, FT, BBC cite us on a daily basis, why companies like similar to yourselves, use our data on a daily basis to help develop their own strategies. Does that help in terms of methodology and background? Does anyone have any questions? Sorry if I repeated from last time.
All good for me.
No,
Sounds good.
no. Brilliant. Okay. So I spoke to so Ty and I initially got in touch because he was interested in our new benchmark tool, which we can go through. So what we do is we can go through some specific data there. But I wanted to also, if there was anything else anyone wants to go through as well or see or that could be of interest, please let me know. At a high level, these are the key topics that we cover. So advertising and marketing, email, mobile, social media, search, social media, etc. So we can, Alex, you might be interested to say, look at our time spent with media, data, or any other relevant information. So feel free to say, oh, that's actually of interest to us. But you can see here that we cover quite a few different topics that I'm sure will be of value. You can also just search, for example, search for social media, and you can see a number of different topics that come up. And then we can also be a bit more specific and say, okay, I want to look for, say, for example, performance, if I could spell, performance benchmark data, filter by UK. Here, and then social media, and here you can see we've got up some relevant content, mobile advertising, performance benchmarks, overall mobile app, social media marketing performance, so social ads, and we can go into Facebook ads, social engagement. I don't know why that's on. There you go. So here's some examples here. So at the moment, we've gone into our benchmarks tool where you can say click on social ads or Facebook ads, Pinterest, Snapchat, Twitter, etc., and you're able to create charts in real time based on the data that's of interest to you. So CPC growth, CPM, CTR, and you can see here that we do go into a lot of. You can look at it by certain industries as well. So say you're only interested in financial services, you can say remove the others. And the idea is you can then create the chart based on what's of interest to you if you're only interested in showing yourselves against other industries.
Can we also focus on UK and in pounds rather than dollars?
Yes. So the data, we can absolutely look at UK only. So say we were to look at, let's have a look here, performance benchmarks. It would be move. So I don't know why it's come up. I want to start the search again. Let's have a look. Okay, so social media, and then look at performance benchmarks, and say, well, we can drill down to CTR, CPC, CPM, but I'll keep it at a high level, and then we will go to the UK only. We should have some examples here. This is UK. It will be in dollars if we're comparing it against others. But if all this data is downloadable into Excel, so if you did want to download it and then just do your own conversions, you're more than welcome to do that. We do provide some data when it is in pounds, if it's UK-specific chart, but if we are comparing it against others, it will be in dollars, just to make it a clear comparison. But here you'll see, again, looking at Facebook mobile app install benchmarks, Instagram ad benchmarks, and again, all of these will be UK specific as well. We can just, if you wanted to search for, say, for example, video view, and again, we're looking at UK desktop versus mobile view ad benchmarks or viewability rates. I think these are the couple of areas that you asked for, Charlie. So this is UK specific. And we have this data on a quarterly basis, so this one will be for Q4 of last year. And you can see the comparison between desktop and mobile. The source is Moat, so you know exactly where it's come from. And the methodology is here, so you know if you are going to use this data, exactly what we're looking at to define whether or not it's of relevance to you. And it's the same with all the different charts, etc. Here we're looking at digital video ad benchmarks, viewability rates by transaction method. And again, sources, videology, etc. So most of the time it will be, if we're looking at it in currency, it will be either dollars or pounds. Does this help so far in terms of the type of, we've got quite a lot of content, and we're adding to this constantly. So benchmarks is an area that we are focusing on, and as kind of next steps, we are looking to enhance the coverage that we've got on the UK market, as well as other markets in Europe as well. But at the moment here, you'll get a feel for the type of information that we've got. As I said, this is quite specific, but we can also look at general performance benchmarks, as well as broader social media content if you're interested in as well.
And can we look at any of these benchmarks by industry? I noticed on the left-hand side of the screen there was an industry box. So does that mean we can break it down to FS specifically or something?
So it depends. So at the moment, we've only got retail.
Yeah.
So there are. So we do have, for example, you can search for, financial service and then filter through that way. It is one of our core industries, and as I showed you before, an easy way is just to click on financial services, and we can break it down even further. Now, we won't always have the level of detail that you're looking for, so you can look at, again, performance benchmarks. So these are all performance benchmarks. And they should relate to financial services, but it won't necessarily be UK then.
Sure.
So, I want, and also just to set expectations, yes, we've got information on this, but a lot of our clients that we work with actually say, you know what, it's great to understand what the benchmarks are for our industry, but actually that doesn't mean that that's the greatest opportunity. A lot of companies, especially in your industry, actually say, you know what, we're kind of lagging behind a bit, and I want to know what the benchmarks are for the UK or for, or across other industries, because that's actually the true potential rather than what others are doing in your industry. It's more of a case of, well, how successful are we? And what is the potential, because it's two different areas. So absolutely you can filter it by the financial services, but you can also, filter it by market as well.
Sure.
But yeah, we do provide industry-specific data you can see here.
I don't know, one thing I saw as well, when you go down into benchmarks, I think we saw it last time as well, where CPE wasn't appearing, and that's one of our core benchmarks for benchmarking our preference campaigns. So I can see we've got CPV, CPM, and CPC, but there's no CPE. I'm just wondering.
So we've got CPE here. As I said, it will just be I've literally just searched for CPE. It's really easy. So we have got it. It will just be, at the moment, we're looking at US. So for some data, we've got, actually, this is a UK-specific report, attention and engagement, and we can just search for it. So we do cover it. Again, it's down to our methodology as well of, I can just search for, there you go. So here, yeah, we just about mentioned it here. But this is looking at attention and engagement metrics, and it is, and it covers a worldwide basis. I would say that we have got it some areas. It depends on the source. Credibility, again, is down to if the source is credible, and then if we've got enough sources putting data out there, we'll produce those data, that information ourselves. But we do cover it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's important to kind of understand. We'll have a lot of information in some of your areas, and I'm sure, you know, your businesses, you know, right now, you know, what's relevant will, I'm sure, change in 6 months' time, et cetera, et cetera. So at a high level, you know, we cover the key areas, CPMs, et cetera, CTR. But you can just search for it, and we'll find that information. So for CPR, we've got 100 results. Does that help to answer your question?
Thank you.
No problem. I mean, we've also got, I mean, so these are performance benchmarks alone. And we, as I said, at the moment, we've got all this data is available in this format. We will be adding it to the benchmark tool, which is this one here, where you will be able to then create it, then you'll be able to filter it by the UK only. And essentially, at the moment, it's worldwide, but you will be able to filter it by UK. It's just in the second iteration, and the level of detail. And we cover it for not just social media, but also mobile display, video, etc. And we'll be adding in other metrics there. Alex, given that you're on the media side, is there anything specific, kind of looking at time spent or other areas that you would be interested to have a look at?
Yeah, so one of the things that I was, both I was looking for, and also I know that Greenhouse have done on our behalf in the past, is use eMarketer for time spent information, so that we can keep up with kind of changing consumer trends.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to understand, because I obviously only get to see what I'm sort of shared, so just be good to see the full kind of suite of your capabilities, obviously very quickly, so I'm conscious that there's probably a lot to get through.
No, absolutely. I mean, with the time spent, I've just searched for time spent with media, and again, we can just filter it to UK only.
Lovely.
And here, so, and then you can filter it even further within time spent. So what is it that you're interested in within time spent? Is it ad spend? Is it marketing? Within marketing, you know, what does that look like? Within media, are you interested in you know, TV, video, internet, etc.? We recently did a report, updated time spent with media. UK is one of the key markets, so you can drill down here. Sure. And this will give you a very high-level feel for, you know, average time spent with major media. But I think this is the difference between what you've seen in the public domain are these reports. So these reports are not available in the public, and it's the context that we provide around it. So those statistics, of course, are important. Having the information around it is vital. We did one on UK time spent with media as well. So this is a full report just on time spent just for the UK. And we do forecasts as well, so what the trends are, you know, looking at in 2021, etc. So, and it's a whole host of information. You can say, okay, what is it that I'm interested in? And we've got all this information here segmented by demographic. We recently actually did a report on UK digital banking. This was out last week, which might be of interest as well because it's similar in terms of where consumer spending, how consumers spending their time when it looks at banking, digital activities of consumers in Great Britain. So this might be of interest as well, just in terms of understanding consumer behaviour and where they're spending their time.
Fab.
And we do look at it by region here as well.
And what other kinds of reports do you sort of do you deliver? Is it just kind of based on hot topics that can be anything sort of within the industry, or is there sort of set things that you cover?
Yeah, so we do cover set things. So, for example, if we look at our report, so these are a couple of examples of reports that we've published over the past couple of weeks. Some of them, you know, for example, the TV update, you know, we update twice a year. You know, retail and e-commerce, you'll see, you know, we've got it specific to markets. messaging apps. So some of them are very much what's trending right now, and then some are we update on an annual basis. You know, and so you know, video, TV, you know, e-commerce. Those are the areas that we'll absolutely update. And then you know, certain areas that are disrupting as well. You know, this one's a new one specific to content marketing. So it really depends. In addition to the reports, we also publish articles, and these are shorter forms of the reports. And this is a way for us to cover what's disrupting the industry right now without, you know, these reports are scheduled a year in advance, essentially. You know, here you can see we know what's upcoming. Most of the time, you know, the ones that's got 2017, it's because we've updated them from 2016 and we'll be updating them next year. So this will give you a feel, but, you know, some of them are quite, it really depends on what's going on in the industry.
And do your customers influence these in any way? Do you know, are you able to make requests for reports, or how do you come up with the schedule?
Yeah, so of course. So you can't request data, but you can feed back. So you feed back and say, this is what we're particularly interested. You have an account team that works closely with you, so they know what's going to be of interest to you. They'll work closely. They will then feed that back internally in terms of, this is what's going on with my clients in this vertical, etc. We then absolutely that plays a part in it. We also do it based on what's going on in the industry. You know, some of the key areas. I mean, we've got a team of 150 researchers, analysts, forecasters who they're primarily focused on pushing out this data. So it's a combination of both client feedback, but also what's going on in the industry.
Okay, thanks.
And you can see, I mean, you know, we also, you know, what you have available is, you know, everything is, when we update our forecast, you have that available to you. It's not just about the reports, it's about those benchmarks. And we've also got what we define as numbers, which is a way for you to be able to create in real time your own charts based on information that's relevant to you. So say we go down to the UK and we say you're interested in looking at media usage. I want to look at time spent with digital per day against mobile. And here you can create in real time your own charts, download the data, save it, etc. And the idea is that you have that available at all times, so that you can come in and say, okay, I actually want a chart for this. And again, change the region or change the country or metric here.
That's great. That's a nice functionality to have.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And yeah, and it said you've got all of this data available here. I mean, so is there anything in particular, Charlie? I know you want me to go more into kind of the CPR and the CPC world. Would that be valuable for everyone? Is there anything in particular that others want to kind of look at?
I'd love to go into more of the CPC stuff.
Yeah, of course. Okay, we can just search. So let's have a look here. I assume UK specific?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look. Just pull up some of this data.
I'd go over as well with everyone to get the context of where I came to this. Obviously, I worked with Jackie in marketing performance in looking at our historical data for all our ad performance. And basically, because obviously we've been using Sprinkler for a finite amount of time, but we needed as much historical data as possible on ad performance in order to make, the more data we have, the more statistically significant the averages and benchmarks are from our own data. But what we've found is it's really inconsistent when we're using benchmarks in reporting, as in some campaigns will hyper excel against the benchmark and some will significantly underperform. And even when we don't even really like to call them benchmarks, they're more like mean averages of historical performance kind of thing, because there's very little statistical significance and like broader context as to should we be measuring ourselves against our average performance historically, because in an ideal world we'd always be outperforming it because we'd always be improving. obviously ideal world being the key word there, but like, so it's not necessarily the best way to benchmark, which is why obviously when this hit my inbox, I was like, this could give us basically a truer, more like valid aspiration for benchmarking rather than just using our own data out of context of like industry network or whatever.
Yeah. Well, this will give you the industry benchmark, if you like, and then if you know we can compare against that as well as our internal benchmark. So that would be quite handy. And and all of the other reports and things as well on top. That's amazing from my own personal selfish perspective.
No, absolutely.
From like a broader innovation team perspective as well, like me and Anita were just giving each other a nod when you were going through it, like the messaging apps, the VR. I saw there was one scheduled for like voice assistants, like Snapchat, like multiple things. So even though we came to you for initially benchmarks, like the breadth of stuff covered become much more broadly useful as well.
And the reason that we've been looking at eMarketer data from a media perspective is because of the forecasting element of the fact of not just where we are today, but where we're going. From an innovation perspective, that will really help us to prioritise what our focus areas should be. So I think it kind of ties in quite nicely.
Yeah, happy to go through CPC then. Thank you.
We still got
Lana, are you still there?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was talking and I was on mute.
Oh, I do that at least.
I was so engaged with what you were saying, and I've been talking, and sorry about that.
No, if I don't do that at least once a day, there's something wrong. So I completely feel you there.
No, exactly. No, I was just saying, to be honest, that's exactly why we work the way we do with our clients, in the sense that you can't, you don't just say, okay, I want all CPC related data. What you find with digital, especially with organizations like yourselves, is that there's such a large crossover. So what you have available and, what would be relevant right now is, yes, it could be the kind of CPC related data or those social media benchmarks, but it's also, the broader messaging apps, what Snapchat looks like, as I said, voice assistants, and you've got access to all of this data that's available across everything that is digital, because it will, your priorities, I'm sure, will change, at different times, and we want you to have all of this available so that you can, get value from it. So I completely agree with what you all said. I mean, here are just a couple of examples. I don't know, in terms of, maybe just to get your thoughts in terms of, you suggested a number of different ways that it could be useful for the organization. Maybe what would be the best in terms of next steps, what you would like to see, and maybe if there's a way that we can, work out how you can get access to all of this information.
In terms of next steps, it'd be really good to have kind of like just even if it's 2 or 3 day access, just to play around to kind of see what's what and where's where, to be honest.
So we don't normally do trials, I must say, and that's just because we've got, quite a lot of information. A lot of companies, will say, oh, I can't find this, or they haven't dedicated the time because it's a trial. And we find actually it's not the best way of figuring it out. Now, we can say, there are a number of different ways, and I want to make sure that you truly all understand actually what's under the hood. If there was, say, a couple of different areas, based on actually what you just mentioned here, that would kind of fall across your priorities, I can then, send you over some example content. I could send you over a report if you want, and then that way you can actually have a look at some of the data.
So I guess if we give you sort of 2 or 3 use cases or 2 or 3 questions for you to answer, that would be a good way to try it.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. And to bear in mind that, we will, as I said before, we will have industry-specific content. We will have, of course, UK-specific content. But, to to kind of look at it. Okay, how can this, how can we help you on a strategic level as well? But yes, if you send over those case studies, we can then, depending on how much information it is, set up another call to go through all of this, or I can just send you some examples over.
And can I ask some questions around sort of the practicalities in terms of if we decided as a business that we wanted to have access to this, is it on a license basis? Is it how does it work?
Yeah, so it's typically a 12-month license. You have unlimited number of users, so that way value can be received across the organisation. There's no additional cost if your team grows or it changes. It's the same price, and also you have access to the 250 reports we publish on an annual basis, the tens of thousands of charts, forecasts, etc. You also have an account team to work closely with you to ensure that value is received. Yes, and that includes customer success as well as in-platform support. At the bottom here, it's live chat. I use it the whole time. To say, please help me find this information.
Yeah,
and they come back to us. Great. And yes.
Charlie, you got all the information around the cost?
I haven't yet, I don't think.
So what I can do is I can send you over a proposal, and basically outline everything that I've just mentioned. And if you need any additional information, let me know.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you could send over the cost proposal to myself, Jen, Anita, Alex, and then we'll respond. We'll give us time to think 2 or 3 use cases, and we can get back the response with 2 or 3 use cases, and then take it from there.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Thank
Was
you
this
very
helpful?
much.
Was anyone looking to see something that we haven't gone through, or was anyone having any other questions?
Were you going to show us the CPC CPM benchmarking tool for social?
So here's one. So a couple of the different charts that I've pulled up. So this is CPC.
Okay.
This is CPC related content here. Can you still see my screen? So we're looking at paid search, revenue per click. For cost per click, growth in paid search, ads, Google search ad benchmarks.
Because paid search ads are class as separate. That's why I was confused because he was showing us like search ad stuff.
Sorry, so
you got social.
So right, okay. I see what you mean.
Instagram, Instagram will just come past.
Let's have a look for this one here. It might just be that for UK specific data, we won't have that.
Because the benchmarking tool, how does the benchmarking tool as a offering differ from the actual report search? Yeah,
so the data available in our benchmarks tool, which is this section here, is basically data that we've got available in the Pro platform, but we give you the ability to create your own charts based on this data. It also means that you can compare and have one source to compare against so that you know there's consistency. At the moment, it's worldwide in this format. We've got available data in different countries in the Pro platform. What's next is that you will be able to have this and say, I want UK-specific data only.
And when you say what's next, when is what's next?
Week, and that will be the second iteration, and then we'll have the third one probably later in the autumn. So this is very new, but the data we've got available, it just means that at the moment you can't necessarily create your own charts, but we still have the data available in the normal Pro.
But in terms of using this tool and within the tool being able to filter by geography, when would the second iteration be? Are we talking kind of Q4, or are we talking Q3 2018 kind of thing?
Q3 2017.
Oh, okay, so imminently. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because we have got the data of it, so that all the data is here. It's just in the format that we haven't got it through the new tool yet. We wanted to get feedback from the first iteration, which is why we made it worldwide only. Just in terms of the UX, is this what people want? And then we've got feedback from our clients and from other people like yourselves who we've been talking to, and then so it will be soon. We just do it all at once.
I can see that in this one, I know I keep on hammering on about CP and engagement rate. but would that be available as well in this, or would it be kind of to get everything like in this tool and then get engagement related stats separately?
Yes, so I mean, you would be able to get this in the tool, and then you still have the stats available anyway, and you will have that for the engagement. Yeah, absolutely. I know it's a bit hard because it's early on within this area, but the data is available for you. It's just in a different format. It's a chart that's been created for you already.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, all right. When do you think you'll be able to get those kind of questions and priority areas to me?
I've already got one in my mind that I'd like to think of, so I'll talk to Alex. If there's any from a general media perspective, discuss between ourselves, probably wrangle it down to 2 or 3, and then I'll email you them over.
Brilliant, fantastic. And then we can schedule a time to go through it all.
Yeah, sounds great.
Brilliant. All right. Brilliant. Well, thank you all. It was lovely speaking to you. And I look forward to hearing from you and continued discussions. And I'll get that proposal over to you in the meantime.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Anita
has left the conference.
Charlie
has left the conference.
Ilana
has left the conference.
Jennifer
has left the conference. Has left the conference.